Welcome to episode 34 of Balboa Park, the podcast in which I talk about the creative process as a way of self observation. Breathe in, I am breathing and drawing vertical and horizontal line on my sketchbook, on my graphic journal. Breathe in, I breathe in and I breathe out for each line I do. So, like, I build a grid on the pages, but also I use this as a breathing exercise to come back in front of my journal. And I will talk to you while I draw inside the rectangle and square formed by the lines of the grid, as they are small, tiny drawings, little thumbnails. I've turned to this practice today because I'm having anxiety. Sometimes it's very difficult to put myself to work. Um, the more things I'm spinning on my plate that aren't always like artistic, because sometimes they are just like bureaucratic, paperwork, taxes, admin stuff. For me, my daughter, Strangeland, and organizing my tattoo work, which is the way I mostly gain the money to put food on the table. And this means making Strangeland a place who's dynamic and known by people in La Rochelle. Tattooing is very slow those days, so you must invent yourself. You must find a way of communicating around the art practice, create a community. And what I realized that for me the most important part of having this Strangeland place is, like, of course, having a place in which I can work. I don't see myself going to work in another tattoo shop in La Rochelle. I love to go on guest, condensate 1 week of tattooing in Paris at Mystery Tattoo Club, or in Rome at the Ten Bells, and I used to go to Brighton at 1770 Tattoo. But my tattoo schedule, it's so random in La Rochelle because I don't have enough client to book a whole week like when I'm on a guest. Doesn't work the same here in La Rochelle. And also because I have Wednesday I have lunch with my daughter, and on Mondays I want to go to yoga, and Thursdays, I don't know, I arrange my schedule. I arrange those moments accordingly to my life here in La Rochelle. It's like my priority, because, to be clear, it's like sometimes I'm like, what the heck am I doing in this small town by the ocean, in which not a lot of people are very friendly, and it's very cold, and and my answer is the everyday life. I love to have this proximity to my daughter, even when she's at her father. We live nearby. We can see each other. I can be involved in the life of her school, in the life of her building up as a human being. And I like the fact that even though life is quite expensive in La Rochelle, uh, it's a small town, so everything can be done walking, and all is close, and I have a quality of everyday life that I enjoy. But career-wise, it's like, oh my, it's not, there is not a lot of opportunity living here. When I came living here 20 years ago, I say to myself, oh, it's just 2 or 3 hour train to Paris. I will go to Paris. I will go to exhibitions. I will, and I do actually. I did it, but it's not every day that you can go wandering around for 1 day in Paris. And maybe I'm aging and I'm a little bit tired. So the quality of life here in La Rochelle for me, it's like having the time for creating, but it's not always like this. Because as I was saying, since the tattoo work is not so much, I have a lot of mental charge around making my space, Strangeland, work as an art space, as a community space, and an LGBTQIA plus space. And so I have to juggle between the quality of life and the dynamic of a career. And it's not easy every day. And of course, then there is the self-judgment, because I'm 45, and sometimes I feel like I must do more, I must produce more, I have not enough book out in the world, and I judge myself for not having a book translated in English, and I judge myself for not, I don't know, being more present, more active. And sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm just like failure. And my way to escape all this, it's my graphic journal. When I take the time to draw on this journal that has a meaning, it's not a product, it's not for selling, it's not a book, it's not a storytelling. It's like a yoga mat for drawing. It's like I take this time to come back to these pages, and it's just a quick way for me to connect to my practice. And especially what I'm doing here, it's like what I do is like I divide the page in like squares or rectangles. And when I do this, I take the time to make the lines while linking my hand and my breathing. So I breathe in, and then I come up, I breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and then I breathe in, I stop, and I breathe out, and then breathe in, breathe out. And at the end, I have this grid. And in this grid, I am free to experiment whatever I want, because there are like micro pages in which there is no pressure of staying too much on the same style, on the same drawing. But in the meantime, I get the same dopamine shot of finishing a pages just by finishing a small drawing. And I can just experiment, like in art therapy, I just can experiment with my hand is going wild, and I can just experiment shapes and pattern. And the only thing I have to respect as an order to do this is not attaching a meaning to what I'm doing. There is no I must do something aesthetically good, even if I'm doing something that I may judge as graphically cringe. I go for it, I don't care. And in this way, I can manage to center myself into a space of non-judgment, because I judge what I do so much at the point that sometimes it's impossible to continue working. And it's not working in a like capitalistic way. I need to produce. No, it's more like I know that if I connect to this space inside myself that is making art, making image, telling a visual story, I know that at the end it will make me feel good. and it will help me with my mental health, my anxiety, my depression, and it also is a good ADHD help, because they are like small mission. I often use postcards, as you saw, and also those kind of stabilo marker, because I can buy them one by one. So it's like it's cool for the budget, because every time I go to the art supply store or also to the office supply store, they have it, and I can buy one color, two color, and then they stay. Maybe I have this since 2 years, something like this, and I have those two, and also this one. These three are like um, I don't know how to say in English. Like you can put water and they become watercolor. Look, and I have this since 1 year, because this is like the brand Stabilo in Italy. When I went to the, last year my comics won the prize in Lucca, and I saw it was cool, because all of a sudden some people knew the name of my book, which is very niche, but I had this person very kind that came to the publisher. I was there signing my book, and he came and he gave me this. I use this a lot, and I have also like a pink one, but I finished it. And he gave me this, and he say, "I'm from the brand. We have a booth here in the festival. I want you to try those." And I was like, "So cool! I always use this brand, but also I love to make not watercolor colors into watercolor, like when I do with this. I like to do this. I don't know if you can see it, but this one is not very okay. I already talked about this maybe, but you know, you can turn the Uniball Mitsubishi into black ink. The only thing is that you don't have to put too much water, because too much water will be too much, and the ink can come, because you need a little bit of pressure, and you can't weigh too much. For example, I did these lines with the same pen, but if I go over the lines, it doesn't happen. It doesn't goes liquid. But at the very beginning, you can do this. Anyway, and so they gave me those two and the others, and I was so happy. And it's been like 1 year, and they resist pretty well, but I couldn't manage to find them in France. So maybe it's just like in Italy or online. It was fun, and it's a good sensation. Maybe it's what influencer feels when they brands send them free stuff. I don't know how it works, but it was a good sensation. I like free art supplies. I guess it's a good sensation. And the fact that I can manage to sit myself and do these very micro, small pages, um, for me is like a way of taking my mental chattering off. This morning I don't feel very good. I feel a lot of pressure. I feel some kind of failure. I overslept, and sometimes it's difficult, feeling like you don't do enough. And I don't know if it's true or not. I don't think that it doesn't matter if it's true or not. I guess it's how you feel about things. And when you have like pressure about bills and things, adding the pressure of to be a real artist, you must produce too much, one book a year. And I can't manage to produce one book a year. And I judge myself so much for this. It's been a year that my Transformer book won the prize in Italy. And since then, I was like, maybe I need to continue my book to surf this wave, so people will see my next book, the book that the author that won the prize. And I couldn't manage to stay on track, because I have other things, and I guess it's okay. And it's like this, what I'm saying, it's true. The moment you think it's true, but it's not true forever, it's like they are just sensation, like feeling like I must do more, I must do more. But some other days it's like it's okay, because nothing is real. I don't know how to say, but it's just they are just thoughts, and you suffer when you believe the thoughts, of course. But when you cling to the thoughts, when you keep the thoughts clear near you, for example, if I think I'm not doing enough, I don't, I didn't have enough books. If I keep this thought near and I want to believe this, of course I will be sad, and I can turn the mem thoughts around. There is an exercise by Byron Katie. I don't know if you know her, but she did a things that called the work, and it's like a mind trick that you can do on yourself. For example, if I think I don't do enough, I'm not a real artist because I don't have one book a year, and so she said, okay, maybe you can ask yourself, is it true? And then maybe you can see if it's true, if you are not enough. Because for me, I'm not enough, I'm not as good as artist because I don't do a book a year. Is it true? Maybe I can say yes, it's true. I don't, but and then she said, is it absolutely true? And then maybe I can't be sure absolutely true. Maybe no, it's not absolutely true because I didn't do another book in 1 year, but I've planned so many things. I did a lot of tattooing. I did some prints. I did a lot of t-shirts and graphic journal class, and my art practice went on. So it's not 100% true. So then you realize, yes, so it's just a thoughts. It's not like real thing. And so she said, how can you turn these thoughts around? How this can be also the opposite in some way? And so maybe I can say, it can be like the opposite is like maybe I produce a lot of artistic content and t-shirt and things and illustration, and I did some cool stuff this year. I did two book cover for two amazing book. One is Stone Butch Blues from Leslie Feinberg, and the other is like Gender is Over by Isa Borrelli. So like it's cool. And also another way of turning these thoughts around, which is the more scary one, is like in which way is the opposite? Like the thoughts like I'm not a real artist because I don't do a book a year. In which way is it can be the opposite? And so I can say I am a real artist because I don't do a book a day. Like every thought can be turned around. And so this Byron Katie sometimes can feel like a little bit forced, but it's fun because it's just a way, for me, it's like just a way of realizing that every thoughts that come from our minds, they are just like mental image, and they are real and not real at the same time. I guess it's fun. I don't know why I don't throw away old postcards, but they can always be useful for textures. I can feel like my anxiety slowing down, my breath like getting longer. I don't know how to say in English, getting fuller, and feels good to take the time with no purpose and just following like what's happening on the page without being afraid of doing something weird. Feels like, I guess that for me, whoop, doing this practice feels like the way I have this way, I guess, since like when I was a child. I always had journals in which I didn't I didn't write a lot because my family, I had one parent that always sneak into my journal to read it, and so it didn't felt safe for me to write down what I felt, because I know that this feeling may come up somewhere, and so taking the time to just translate feeling into image, um, it's something I really always did, and it's something that helped me a lot during the years. And even though there's nobody read my journal anymore, I have now I have this way of functioning is in which drawing a feeling for me, it's more, I don't know if you say it is in English, immediate. It's more yeah, it's more oh my, how do you say this, um, it's faster anyway than using the words. Also because since forever I always had problem, I don't know how to say in English, but with letters and with way to write the words, way to read the words. So anyone can do a smiley face or a sad face, even if you are dyslexic or so. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching me doing this. I guess that I gained back some peace of mind, and I'm going to go work on my book if I can, and uh, bring in. For sure, I will not finish this today, and it's okay. It's like, as I was saying, remember the graphic journal. It's like the yoga mat for your drawing practice, artistic practice. It's a place that you can go and be open to whatever comes, because it's a space that also creates your time. I don't know if it doesn't if it this makes sense, but anyway, thanks for watching me in my pajamas. And if you catch this in audio as a podcast or on YouTube, anyway, you know that you can go to my website, nicodsbalboastudio.com, and there you have all the links to my graphic journaling class, but also to the newsletter, the podcast. Anyway, see you there. Ciao.